Hey, good morning, everyone, and welcome to the PivotBoss Pre-Market Report for June 13th, 2016. I'm Frank Ochoa, aka PivotBoss. Here's a look at the daily time frame of the ES. One thing we were looking at last week was how is price going to respond above the previous week's high price. I mentioned that while price was holding above that zone, there were sell stops below these lows, and if price could not hold, we were likely going to see a flush back toward the 76s, which is the top of the MC-VPOC. VAL. So that's the value area high on the MC-VPOC. And one thing we mentioned was that if price does do that, any pullback is likely to be a selling opportunity for a likely push back across the range toward value, which is now 2052 quarter, and a shot at seeing microcomposite VPOC, which is 2040. So overall, we've seen the stops come out. We've seen a bit of a pullback. And we now have to see how is price going to respond near the 2076s in this zone, because bulls want to defend in this area to see if we can get another rise. But if price cannot get back above those 2096s, 2097s, any pullback short of that zone will likely be a selling opportunity for a push downward. So we're going to see where does the pullback come to. We do have a weekly pivot range here that is a higher value relationship, yet price is opening below that pivot range. So a push into this pivot range could offer an opportunity to sell and direct price back toward 2052. So that's one thing I'll be looking at. Obviously, if prices do continue to push downward, it could be an easy call to not only get back to value, but also work its way across the range toward the bottom of value, which is currently 2020. Now, if we take a look at the intraday time frame right now, not a whole lot is going on. We're trading at the moment at about 46% of average daily range. We're trading in a kind of a quiet overnight range right now near lows. Again, any bounce could be seen as a selling opportunity. We do have the weekly pivot range to watch out for. So once price rallies into the zone, or should it rally into that area, any failure to hold could be a great selling opportunity for the bear targets below. Currently, 2072 is the primary bear target on the day, but again, that's based off the current high. If we do see a new high, that target will come up just a hair as price comes into it. So we'll keep an eye on those targets on the downside. Above 2087, any acceptance above that zone will likely push price back toward 2094 for a big retest. Let's take a look at crude oil. Here's crude. One thing we were looking for was a rejection off the 5165s, at least on first test. That's a major CLV there. That's an area I talked about as being a point where we could see a rejection and a move back toward the HVN and the close. We've seen that move materialize, and now we have to see how does price respond here in this zone. This is an area where bulls want to defend and see if they can get the next push up. The next key level above is going to be 53.40 and 55. So the next two major levels are going to be 53.40 here and 55 here. If price can continue to hold above the 47.22 to 47.60 zone, that's an area that bulls have continued to defend, and we have seen nice new highs in the uptrend. So that's an area that should continue to defend here. But again, we talked about the fact that if price cannot get back above value here and it goes offered, that could be an opportunity to see a push back down toward the next major HVN below, which is 44.72. So there is a fail scenario here, and it all revolves around the ability to either get back above 49.36 or the failure to do so. So that's the pivot to watch. Failure to do so could lead to this opportunity here, while if the bulls are able to defend this zone from below, we could see a push back above it. So we're looking for another wave of strength ahead, but if price cannot get above 49.36s, that could be an indication that we may be seeing another move lower toward perhaps this HVN at 44.72. Let's take a look at gold futures here. Gold has been extremely bullish. We've had 1208.30 as the major level here that we were watching for a reversal. We saw the rejection day, we saw the absorption signature. We've seen how price pushed through and defended composite VPOC on the shift up to 1238.5 from 1236.5, and we've seen a nice continuation. This is exactly what we're looking for. Back to the zone between 68 and 75, and we've now surpassed that area. The expectation was that we would likely see a continuation toward the next HVN, which is 1299s, and that could be ahead. Obviously, we've seen higher highs and higher lows day over day. which has been very nice. The next pullback to 1269s could also be a nice buying opportunity for a completion of the move back toward 1308, at least on the short-term basis. Remember, we talked about how prices have been well defended off of support in the 12 to 1210 zone, but on the high end, we've seen higher and higher highs. So we could see a push to new highs beyond 1308 and into 1327 in this pocket up here before we see another rotation downward. So there could be more upside still ahead for gold. Lastly, in the NQ, we've seen a nice rejection off the highs again. The NQ has been giving us some very great rejection days. Very nice rejection signatures here with absorption coming in afterwards. We've seen it time and time again. It's been very, very nice. We've even seen it on the bottom end. So great rejections in the NQ so far to help guide the way. In this case, we were looking at this rejection day and we were looking to defend the previous month's high at 45.20 for a shot at new lows, and we got it. We were looking for new lows beyond this low. Very nice continuation of the move, and we saw a move into the LVN here at 44.34. So far, that's been an area to defend. So here's what I'm looking for: a bounce off this zone into the pivot range to begin the week, and then perhaps bears to come in and defend for a retest of these lows. If it doesn't hold, then we have this 43.89 half as the next downside target. Any push beyond or re-acceptance back above 86 half could lead to another move back across the range into 45.50 to 45.60. All right, that's it for now. Let's see how this thing plays out heading into the new week of trading. Good luck and trade well.